How can you buy a house when prices are so unaffordable at the moment? This is one of the biggest questions out there, especially for first-time buyers and young people. And right now, many believe it's impossible. But I'm here to show you that that's not the case. But first, what are the main contributions to this unaffordable market? Low interest rates and a shortage of new affordable properties have been cited as factors driving up the prices. I'll go into this in more detail in a minute. According to the nationwide house price index, UK house prices have risen by an average of 4.8% per year over the past decade, far outstripping wage growth. The average price of a home in the UK is now £268,000, which is more than 7 times the average annual salary. Mortgage lenders normally lend between 4 and 5 times your salary, so unless you have like a huge wedge of cash to put down as a deposit, how on earth are you supposed to buy? Despite a record low youth unemployment rate, the government has yet to adequately address the issue. The percentage of household income spent on renting has increased, making it less economically viable for young people to choose renting over owning a home. In fact, according to the English Housing Survey, the average private renter now spends 41% of their income on rent. How are you supposed to have any independence if you're priced out of renting and buying? Other reasons why buying a house can be so difficult. House prices in the UK have been on the rise for many years, with a number of factors contributing to this trend. Here are some of the main reasons why house prices have gone up. Supply and demand. One of the main factors driving up house prices is supply and demand. There simply aren't enough homes to meet the demand from buyers, which means that prices go up as a result. Now, this is partly due to population growth, but also because of the shortage of new housing stock that's being built. Low interest rates. Another factor that has contributed to rising house prices is low interest rates. When interest rates are low, it's cheaper for people to borrow money to buy a house, which increases demand for property and drives prices up. But obviously at the moment we don't have low interest rates, but they did stay low for quite a big period of time. Buy-to-let investors. The rise of buy-to-let investors has also contributed to rising house prices. These are investors who buy properties with the intention of renting them out, and they often pay a premium to secure properties in desirable locations. This can drive up prices, making it more difficult for first-time buyers to get on the property ladder. Foreign investors. Foreign investors have also been known to contribute to rising house prices, particularly in London. These investors may see UK property as a safe haven for their money and are willing to pay high prices for luxury properties. Government policies. Government policies can also have an impact on house prices. For example, the Help to Buy scheme, which provides government-backed loans to help first-time buyers get on the property ladder, has been criticised for pushing up prices. Additionally, the lack of affordable social housing means that more people are forced to buy or rent in the private sector, which again can drive up prices. Overall, the combination of these factors has led to the rise in house prices in the UK, making it more difficult for younger generations to get on the property ladder. The other divide that we find when trying to buy is the people who have wealthier parents and help versus the people who don't. People from wealthier families who have more to inherit do have an easier time buying a house, as they may have more access to financial resources, better education and job opportunities, and more experience with the property market. This can create a generational divide when it comes to home ownership, with those from less wealthy backgrounds finding it harder to get on the property ladder. My younger sister is in the process of trying to buy her first house, and it's an absolute nightmare. She's totally outpriced in the area that she wants to buy. And it's a really difficult situation because when you're looking for a long-term home, you don't really want to sacrifice the area that you want to live in, particularly if you're thinking about starting a family. So my sister's putting money away every month, cutting back on luxuries like going out to eat and buying new clothes. But as the house prices start to continue, she's feeling a bit demotivated because it just doesn't seem to be getting any easier. In fact, quite the opposite. Most young people are in the same boat, struggling to save up for a house whilst also paying off debts and trying to build a career. And it's not just about owning a home either. With more and more people renting, the cost of rent has gone up, making it harder for young people to save up for a house. There's nothing left to save. It's not just about the financial aspect either. Owning a home is seen as a sign of success, security, and stability, something that many young people feel like they're missing out on. It's hard to feel like you're making progress in life when you're constantly worried about how you'll ever afford a home of your own. It can feel like an impossible achievement, but here's the thing. You're not alone, and so many young people are in the same boat, struggling to make ends meet and feeling like they're never going to be able to afford a home. It's easy to feel like giving up, but I truly believe that there are things that you can do to improve the situation. Because buying a house, it isn't all doom and gloom. It's an exciting time of your life. And if I manage to do it, then so can you. First of all, it's important to be realistic about what you can afford. Don't stretch yourself too thin trying to buy a home that's outside of your budget. Instead, look for properties that are affordable but still meet your needs. Consider locations that are slightly further away from city centres because these are more affordable. If there's an area that you're interested in, then it's really good to do a drive-by at different times of the day just so you get a feel of how it would be like to live there. I used to park up and speak to anyone that lived locally in the area and ask them loads of questions. You know what? Bus stops are normally a great place to do this. Another thing to consider is shared ownership schemes. These schemes allow you to buy a percentage of a property and pay rent on the remaining percentage. While you won't own the entire property, it can be a great way to get onto that property ladder and start building equity. My friend did this in London and she's now saving as hard as she possibly can to buy the remaining chunk of the property. Secondly, make a budget and stick to it. It might seem tedious, but knowing exactly how much you're spending and where your money's going is the key to saving up for a deposit. Try and cut back on unnecessary expenses like eating out, buying expensive clothes, because these small changes can make a big difference in the long run. Buy secondhand and eat out with vouchers so that you don't feel like you're missing out. Thirdly, start saving as early as you possibly can. Even if you're not ready to buy a home yet, starting to save for a deposit early can help give you that head start. Look for savings accounts with higher interest rates and consider setting up a direct debit to transfer a portion of your paycheck into a savings account every month. There are also designated accounts to this, like the Lifetime ISA. So the government contributes 25%, so that if you put in £4,000, they'll top you up by £1,000, and it's really worth looking into. Finally, talk to your friends and family about your plans to buy a home. You never know who might be able to offer you advice or even help you out financially. Don't be afraid to ask for help or advice, as buying a home is a big decision and it can be overwhelming. Buying a home as a young person in the UK can be tough, but it's not impossible. By being realistic about what you can afford, making a budget, saving early, and seeking advice, you can increase your chances of getting onto the property ladder. It's important to remember that owning a home isn't the only measure of success or stability, and that renting can also be a great option for some people. And whatever you decide, remember, you're not alone in this struggle, and there are resources and support available to help you. The housing market is really unpredictable, and at some point it could go in your favour. If you want to learn more about the UK housing market and why it got so bad, then you're going to want to check out this video. So click here and I'll see you there.